Okay, so I just did a great interview with Mike. He's bought 4 hotels in the last 5 years. Very specifically, the last 5 years with all the chaos going on. So think about that. I asked the questions you guys asked. For some reason, YouTube Live wasn't working. Sorry. I chose a horrible lighting location, but great acoustics. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've had issues with audio lately. Anyhow, here's the interview. Oh, be sure to like and subscribe. Press the like button. Do it. Make YouTube happy. Hey guys, it's Paul at the Motel, and I'm here with an entrepreneur. He's, what, 36 years old? Yeah. Owns 4 hotels. 3? 4? 4 hotels. 4 hotels. 1 in Colorado, 3 in Arizona. And I'm buying some lamps off him. These ones are brand approved. You see? Window. So, of course, how the heck did you do it? So, when did you buy your first hotel?
So, 5 years ago, 2016, I basically was working in the corporate world for about 8 years. Okay. Saved up some money. I had a house, had some equity in my house, sold my house, took out my 401k, took a penalty on that, and invested it into a hotel.
How much money did you have to put down?
I had to put $700,000 down.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so, and I lived on property. Okay. And
how old again were you?
At that time, I was 31.
31. Yeah. So 5 years, you built 4 hotels in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah. And awesome. So I took a chance. I sold my house and I moved to Arizona from California. And I lived on property. I was doing the night shift. I was doing day shift. I did everything that I needed to do to make the hotel successful. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. And you know,
are they all flagged or?
I have 2 flagged and 2 independents.
Which do you prefer?
I prefer independence.
Okay.
It allows me to make more decisions and a lot more decision making the way I want to do things.
Real quick, if you want to check out his carpet, this is a flagged by Wyndham, but check out, this is like the same style that I went with. I mean, again, it looks amazing in person. Yeah. In his rooms, obviously, I'll show a picture of those. Are those all standard? Did you ask for any deviations on the rooms or?
The flooring, I did some special stuff with the flooring. On some of the flooring, you see I did a herringbone style. Yep. So I like to do a little kind of just making things a little bit better than, you know, standard stuff. The
outside, is that brand standard or did you ask for deviation on that?
I deviation on that. Okay. So I chose my color pattern on the
really sharp, man. It's really sharp.
So yeah, I don't have anything against franchises. I just started as a franchise. I think it's a great way to start in the hotel business because they have all the tools necessary to be successful, and you know, obviously the brand, people recognize brands. Right. But I think if you are interested in, you know, having your own hotel and making total full 100% control, then having an independent hotel is a nice way to go.
I have a follower on YouTube. I think he's a friend on Facebook too. He's a Patel. Okay. His family, I believe, is in the hotel business, and his question is apartments versus hotels. Have you done any? Do you like the stability of long term?
Yeah.
Or do you think hotels are where it's at? Do you have an opinion on either one?
I think it depends on the market. Right. I think we are definitely in a housing shortage, right. And I think apartments are a great, multifamily is a great opportunity, and so I do think apartments is a smart move. You're seeing a lot of hotels converting into apartments, right. Which is a popular thing going on right now.
We just did one. Yeah,
we just did one. So, and I also think there's less threat with hotels. We have Airbnbs that are kind of threatening our business. So I think apartments don't have as much threat. There's a lot of demand for apartments. So I do think it's a great business, apartments. I don't think personally from something that's interesting, I find hotels more interesting and gathering people and learning people's stories and making something meaningful. Hotels are a lot more interesting to me.
What size of hotels do you do? This one, I'm guessing 126, maybe 50?
Yeah, exactly. 49 rooms. Okay. So anywhere from 42 to 100 units.
Okay. Do you like smaller, bigger, better?
I like the smaller ones, just because it's easier to pivot. It's easier to, if you're going to change something, you don't have to change 150 of something, of curtains. It's a lot easier to do that. It's easier for staffing. Right. It's easier to just manage in general. Right. On the flip side, unfortunately, if it's busy and you only have a certain amount of rooms, then you're kind of missing out there. So, there's a certain fixed cost you have for running, but I like the smaller ones. I think they're easier to manage.
Do you think it's still possible to get into hotels in 2022?
Sure.
I keep seeing a lot of people. So I've been checking out the CPI report. I see we're down 20% for hotels.
Yeah.
I see inflation's up 10%.
Yeah.
I see a lot of hotels for sale. Everybody's asking for the moon, because real estate's high, but hotels aren't necessarily high. Is now the time to buy? Is now the time to sell? Are you doing either? Or?
I think right now it's a tough time to buy. Things are inflated. Inflation, as you alluded to, is pretty high. Mm-hmm. Real estate is high. And I don't think numbers are back to pre-COVID quite yet.
Right.
So, but the prices are pre-COVID. So, as a result, you're kind of paying even more for hotels right now that really are not penciling necessarily on paper. They don't have the numbers for 2019 or 18 like they were. Right. So I think there's a little bit of patience. I think there's obviously deals that are there. So people, I think you got to really hunt for your deals.
Right.
So, that's where you got to find something if you really want to get into the hotel business right now.
Are all of yours in college towns, or do you tend to go for bigger towns, smaller towns? Do you think that there's a benefit to either? Or?
I'm not that big. I mean, there's people that are extremely big, own multiple hotels. So I'm pretty new in the business. I'm only 5 years in, like I said earlier. I think you do look for strong demand drivers, like college towns or places with hospitals or next to airports or drive to destinations or a lot of business happening, corporate headquarters. Those are obviously nice places to have hotels in. Obviously, when you're in those places, it costs more money. Yeah. So you kind of have to figure out where the shift in demand is going. So you kind of get a little ahead of it. So you got to look at certain things like housing and where is the housing, where are people investing their money, where are people moving to, and where are headquarters opening up, and trying to anticipate some of that stuff and seeing what's doing well in states.
Are you seeing any pushback from cities with the new regulations or anything like that? Have you had any drama with that at all, or do you find the franchise to be more restrictive? Where do you find the major, bottleneck inside of your process? For our remodel, a lot of it's been micromanaged by the city. We love the city though, but I would say that they've probably been our bottleneck. But I hear a lot of people are saying that the franchise might be kind of the hard part for them. And what's your take on that?
For the city, I always try to, this franchise as well, but with the city, I try to look at it as I'm trying to beautify the city and make the city better by offering a better product. Right. So that's my objective. When I do go and renovate something, I try to meet with the city leaders and lay out my vision and my plan, and this is what I'm trying to achieve, and this is my objective, to make the hotel better. Mm-hmm. That's my personal philosophy, is to try to get better every single day.
Right.
With the franchises, yes, it can be sometimes a little bit difficult. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards independence, because I can make my own decision on flooring or carpeting or colors or or bed types or whatever I want to do.
That creative outlet you need.
Yeah, I need that creative expression, and that's where I kind of.
I get it. You have the same flavor palette as me too.
Yeah,
black and blues, man.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, the franchises. I think once you do prove yourself with the franchises, they start to give you a little bit more leniency. And I think, like anything, it's establishing a good relationship, letting them know what your vision is, and try to work collaboratively towards a goal.
Got a really evasive question for you. I asked this for everybody, but are you? Would you share what your net worth was before getting to hotels and after? Have you grown from it? Has it made you? Or are you the type of person like me where you're just like, I don't have a clue when I get paid?
I think I'm doing better than I definitely was before owning hotels. Okay. I don't know those numbers of net worth and all that kind of stuff. But I certainly enjoy. It's not, for me, hotels, what it's enabled for me, and entrepreneurship in general. It doesn't have to be hotels. It can be whatever. It could be your own rent a U-Haul business. It could be Uber driving. It's the freedom.
Right.
And that's what has afforded me, is the freedom of having something where I'm not I'm not obliged to be at a certain time.
Right.
Obviously, I've worked really, really hard. I've never worked this hard in the last 5 years.
You're living on property here for like the last 2 years, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm not on this property currently, but I'm here visiting. I'm
Right.
on another property, visiting or living.
Family at all, or relationship type stuff, or just kind of having to?
Just me, yeah. But I will say that. I think if you chase the money, sometimes that's a difficult thing. But if you chase your passion, and it sounds cliched, but for me, it's like creativity and design and connecting people, and that's what's important for me in the hotel business. And it could be in anything. It could be a bakery, it could be a restaurant, it could be whatever business you want, tech, it could be selling stuff on Amazon. If you're interested in something else aside from just the money, obviously it has to make sense financially. That's a rule. But
do you see failure as an option? Are you the type of person that says, okay, if this property doesn't work, I'm going to throw in the towel on that, or are you all in? What's your take on that?
It's not an option for me, and I'm pretty. I will do whatever I can, move mountains and whatever I can to make sure that the property is succeeding.
The guys you've seen that are building up hotel empires, like in their 20s and 30s, failure's not an option. They're going to go down with the ship. They again, shut down, keep going. It doesn't matter if the money doesn't make sense. I'll make it make sense. You see that mindset a lot with a lot of hotel entrepreneurs, especially the people that don't start off with family money and stuff like that.
I mean, sorry to interrupt.
No.
The pandemic was a classic example. Like down in Arizona, we were down to like 1 to 2 rooms a day.
Yeah.
So I had to make a quick decision, leave Colorado and move back to Arizona, and I wasn't able to even pay my trash bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty severe.
I bought a dump trailer. And I started doing my own trash for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another business the sky's the limit. It doesn't have to be hotels. It can be anything. A hauling business is great. Like in a town like where we live in, there's so much construction going on. I've seen people. This guy's grown to now he's about 15 trucks now. He's just it's called Havadum. I mean, he's doing fantastic, and it doesn't have to be hotels. I mean, it could be anything. Hotels has a little bit of a high barrier to entry because of the cost to buy it. But there's people out there willing to invest in you, and
Sorry, real quick, don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
If you guys need financing for buying a hotel or for FF&E, we do have a partner. Just reach out to me, Facebook, or leave a message down below, and I'll get back with you. theothermotel.com, leave a message there too. It is hard if you don't know the people. Yeah. I have people that are willing to finance right now in hotels.
But I will say the last thing is there's no substitute for hard work.
I agree 100%.
It's not like you just get into it and all of a sudden, like, here we go, it's just going to start raining. It just doesn't work like that. And there's a sacrifice of time, too. Yep. So, as you know, but like anything, but more so, a little bit more in the hotels because it is a 24/7 business, and it does require your time a lot of the time. But it is worth it. It's just don't expect to just get into something and just let it just start. It's just.
Would you do it again, knowing how hard you've worked?
Yeah, I would. I would do it again. And a lot of also, it's not just one person. It's a team, building a good team around yourself. It's working hard, and also understanding that there's also some luck and fortune involved. Right. So that is a part of people's success as well. So I do, I try to, be humble in that respect. So
there's so many times that you find yourself against a wall and you're just searching. But again, if you're searching, you're going to find something. Yeah. You have to get yourself to the point where you're like, again, I'm not going to give up. Yeah. And you get that luck because you're working.
I echo that same sentiment. It's kind of like create your own luck. Mm-hmm. I mean, like here, I just recently, like 2 years ago, when I took over this property, the striping on the parking lot was really bad, and I was getting quotes for upwards of $1,000, like just to stripe it. Yep. No seal coating, none of that stuff. Yep. So I was looking for, and that was the day I was looking for. I had gotten quotes, and I went out to lunch that day, and I happened to be going down the street right here. There was a guy striping a bank parking lot. So I went up to him and I said, "Hey, look, do you want to make some extra money on the side?" And so I basically said, "Hey, look, I got this hotel down the street. It's 12 o'clock. The hotel's right now. It's between times, so it's empty. Right. If you come by and stripe the parking lot, I'll give you a couple $100. You make some money, as long as your boss is cool with it. Right. It saves me money. Right. And so the guy ended up taking on the offer, and he striped my parking lot, and it saved me like $600-700.
That's awesome. We did a stripe job too, by the way.
Yeah.
we striped it last winter, and it's gone. Or last summer, and it's gone through the winter. I'm like,
Yeah, the water.
I was just thinking about that today too.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
create your own luck. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any other words of advice for people? So a lot of my audience is people that want to get into hotels. You know, again, so they either just bought one. I have a guy today. He's trying to decide if he wants to stay independent or if he wants to switch over to Wyndham. Full disclosure: Wyndham does give the Ugly Motel a little bit of remodeling money if you guys do decide to use the Ugly Motel as your code or whatever.
Okay.
And at the same time, there's a lot of independent. There's a lot of flexibility with independent, and some people are on that fence. And then there's people that are they bought a couple houses and they want to get to that level, and it's like it's impossible, but they're wanting to do it, so they're gonna get there at some point.
Absolutely.
So any final advice for those people that are starting out?
I would say that if you're starting off in the hotel business, start small.
Right. I agree 100%.
Buy only what you can what you can chew or whatever the saying is. And I would say on top of that, probably lean towards a franchise, because the franchise will give you a lot of structure, and it takes a lot of the stress away from you because of the brand.
Right.
And a lot of the things are predetermined for you, and you don't really have to do that much investment into thinking of what do I need to run the property, what do I need to do for this, and they have a lot of resources available.
Both of yours are Wyndham, or did you?
Both of these are Wyndham, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that the training behind it was did it help you personally? I know it helps staff with creating best practice and stuff, but do you feel like that you got a lot from it?
I think I got a good amount. I do come from the corporate world, so I had some pretty good leadership experience in leading people. So I've had that already ingrained in me. But I think somebody that hasn't necessarily gone through corporate leadership, they do offer great resources on their portals, and they have, you have to go to a training that you have to go to corporate back to training. They have, local little meetings. They have people to support you. So when you have the franchise, you have you're not just by yourself like when you are in an independent hotel. You have a lot of support with the franchise. So doing your first hotel, it makes a lot of sense to go on a franchise. Unless you feel like you can do it and you want to really go for being independent and not pay the franchise fees that that we have to pay.
I at 25, I knew everything, so it was a good time for me, and I said I was gonna go independent. I wanted to get to a flag, but I was like, you know what, I can just do it myself independent. The Oasis Inn, and took on a 165 unit hotel, Holidome,
gosh.
And it wasn't exactly maintained before I purchased it. So we've done a lot of. I would 100% suggest 50%, 50 room or smaller for your first one. Looking back, it's like.
And bring a partner in. I think it's good to.
Do you have a partner in any years?
I don't. Okay. But I would say that.
I want to. I just mentally can't get there yet.
Or bring somebody there that can help you, a family member, or a lot of these. I think smaller hotels you can do as a husband-wife team.
Right.
That's also a lot of how people start off as a husband-wife team.
Right.
Or just have somebody in the industry that you can bounce ideas off of, or just have a sounding board. So
Well, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for the lamps, man.
My pleasure. Enjoy.
Appreciate
Hopefully
it.
they bring some light to your business.
I'm so excited to see if they're a Wyndham brand. I was like, yes, this is exactly it. And they're black. So